Good evening, everyone, once again, and welcome to this very impactful session. My name is Matthew Addo, and I'll be your moderator for today's SPSS One Day Bootcamp, hosted by Dahel Technologies in partnership with EcoNow. I work closely across programs management, partnership, and marketing with Dahel ecosystem, and I can confidently say you are in the best and right room today. Now, let me start with just a simple thought. You know, every major decision shaping our world today, be it from climate action to say energy policy, is no longer based on assumption, a particular sentiment, or bias. It is all based on data. And the people who understand that data, they are the ones shaping the future. I'll say boldly that today is your introduction to that world. I know most of us on the call are already familiar with other data analytics tools like Excel, Tableau. Most persons are already in our ecosystem of learning. I understand that. But today you'll be learning SPSS, another tool in the data world. So this session is powered by Dahel Technologies, a leading digital skill and innovation company that has trained thousands of individuals across multiple countries in data analytics, artificial intelligence, and career acceleration. In collaboration with Econow, the platform focuses on climate innovation and global conversation. This bootcamp is more than just a class. It is a gateway, if you ask me, into using data for real world impact, especially in area of climate change and renewable energy. But before we continue, I would love us to just have some ground rules that will help us simulate easily in the course of the session. So to keep in mind why the bootcamp will be ongoing, I would love us to please stay engaged, avoid every form of distraction as much as possible. Use the chat box for questions and answer, and also should in case you have any contribution to make, though there'll be a time for that. We will not love you that you are maybe obstructing the facilitator whenever he's teaching. So if there's need for anything, if you want to ask anything when he's teaching, just drop a question. So when he sees that on the screen, he will attend to the question. That's if you don't want to wait till the question and answer time, because I understand how learning could be. You could just drop it on the chat or maybe write it down to ask later. Another ground rule I would love us to also keep in mind is that we should be respectful and very professional in our interaction. If something is not clear, please ask question. I think you're here to learn. And most importantly, come with a learning mindset. Because today is not just about listening, today is about understanding and also applying. In the next couple of hours, you will be introduced to some basics in SPSS, data analytics for climate and data decision, because the data set we'll be using in today's training is gotten from that industry. All thanks to Econa, one of our partners, for making that data set available, and data visualization techniques. So I encourage each and every one of us on the call to take note, stay present, and also participate actively. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce our facilitator for today, Mr. AGC Joseph, who is a data analytics professional with Masters of Science from University of Uyoyo in Nigeria. He specialized in statistical analysis and data-driven research. He brings extensive expertise in SPSS, quantitative method, and public health, and has consistently supported students, researchers, and professionals in making accurate and impactful data-driven decisions. What makes his session stand out is not just about the knowledge he shares, but his ability to make complex concepts look simple, practical, and actionable. At this point, I will I would love us to just settle in and get ready to learn while we jam our hands together as we welcome Mr. Joseph Jesse to take us through the whole session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Mr. Matthew. Good evening, everyone. I want to confirm if everyone can hear me. Please kindly unmute and confirm if
we can hear you, sir. Good evening, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right, once again, good evening, everyone, and welcome to this bootcamp. This evening, I will introduce you guys to SPSS. And what you achieve from this very class is introduction to SPSS interface, how to code your data and analyze them, and how to present your data and make basic interpretation of them, because there are opportunities everywhere. Now, let's dive straight into the matter of the day. Imagine you are an undergraduate student or a postgraduate student who have gone to spend weeks collecting data for projects. It could be project, it could be dissertation, it could be thesis, it could be career research work. And after taking sleepless nights to gather this data, and at the end of it, you got stuck. Not just because of anything, but because you cannot analyze them. You open Excel, you got confused, you tried calculating manually, you made mistakes. At the end, what should have been a strong project became an average one. Not because you didn't work hard, but because you didn't know how to analyze your data. And take another scenario. Imagine another student with the same data, but this time they try to open SPSS. But in a minute, they run their analysis, generate clear results, and confidently define their work. The difference between these both students was not just intelligence, it was skill. And that is exactly why we are here today. This bootcamp is not just about learning SPSS, it is about giving you the power to turn your data into meaningful results, confidence, and even opportunities that are around you. So now, as we are starting, I will shoot up my slide. I'll be pausing at intervals. But if you have questions before I pause, you can shoot it up in the chat box, and I will see to attend to it. Meanwhile, this class will be 70% practical, 30% theoretical. So shooting on my slide is just to have a bird's-eye view of what we are doing today. Meanwhile, after shooting it for a moment and a run through, we'll go straight into the interface. I will share my whole screen and you'll be able to see how we decipher the various interfaces in SPSS. Now, let's begin. Give me some moment while I shoot up my screen. Please, I want to confirm if all of you can see my screen. You can give a thumbs up if you can see it. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So today, we are dealing with SPSS. And what is SPSS? SPSS is a statistical package that has been used for data analysis for a very long time. People often go for Excel, Power BI, Python, and the rest of others. But SPSS in recent time has become one of the widest software that is used for data analysis that gives you the opportunity to do mindless analysis. Mindless. The interface is very, very friendly. It has this interface that if you know how to go between your descriptive and inferential statistics, you'll be able to run your analysis in a way that when you present it, your lecturers, your colleagues in organization will get to ask you, how did you do it? How did you do it? And we are here today to do that. So for the introductory aspect of what is SPSS, SPSS majorly was meant for social sciences, field like psychology, sociology. Somebody's hand is up. Do you have any observation immediately?
Yes, my observation is I can't see your screen, sir.
But can every other person see my screen?
I can't see the screen, sir.
Yes, I can see the screen.
Sir, I can see the screen. I can see it.
Oh, wow.
I believe it is your network. Yes, if you can do yourself a favor to change your ISP, internet service provider, maybe switch from MTN to Airtel, or log out and log in back. Maybe that will help. Thank you. So let's proceed.
Okay, I can see the screen, sir. I can see
You
it
can
now.
see now. Okay, okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's good. That's good. So this software was majorly meant for fields such as psychology, sociology, and human services. But in recent time, SPSS became acquired by IBM, International Business Machine, a global technology firm headquarters in New York, that is UK. So this SPSS has become so good in such a way that it is used across every field. I mean, every field now. And imagine a software where IBM, a global technology and a consultant firm, will acquire to tell you how good it is. Imagine the likes of Andy Field, yes, Andy Field, in one of his books, Discovering Statistics Using SPSS, where he has written, I don't know, for those of you who are in the sciences, who have lay hands on that textbook by Andy Field, Discovering the Statistics Using SPSS. You see how mathematics is being made easy. Like when you see it, it's not by going calculating. Just key in your variable as instructed from the textbook into your software, and at the end of the day, you have your result in a very seamless and easy way. Now, what makes this SPS popular? Why is this so popular? Because of its user-friendly interface. You can handle large data easily, no matter the quantity of your data. SPSS is near perfection to handle it perfectly for you. It simplifies statistical analysis very easily. It allows users to test without even deep programming knowledge. Some people will always say that before you do statistical analysis, you must have programming knowledge. But in SPSS, it is needless. In as much as you have that little statistical knowledge, like descriptive statistics, then you are good to go. Then, introducing you to the two types of interface that we have in SPSS. We have the data view and the variable view. Now, I will stop shooting this and I will go live because everything I say will be practical. I will stop sharing this and I'll share my whole screen where we'll start dealing with the SPSS itself. So give me some moment. Let me open the package. Please, a moment. I think my network in my system just run off. Let me switch my ISP, please.
Okay, while we wait for that to happen, I believe they come up soon. I can see a hand up. Olufomilayo, you want to say something? Oh, okay, all right. I think you were the one that wasn't seeing your screen, right?
A moment for my network to turn in for my system. All right. Okay, please confirm now with a thumbs up if you can see my screen. All right, thank you. Okay. I mentioned that we have two interfaces in SPSS. And here we are. Just take a deeper look on my cursor. And you'll be able to follow up. So looking at the screen, you see the data view. This data view that is highlighted yellow is just like a worksheet. You know, for those of us who have preliminary knowledge of Excel, who have worksheet and spreadsheet. Spreadsheet is like the total worksheet you are working on, where we have sheet 1, sheet 2, and sheet 3 on default. But a worksheet is a singular sheet that you are currently working on. So this data view is like a worksheet. And now, if you look at it very well, you see rows and you see columns. Then it is now being demarcated by green lines. You can see all these small lines being demarcated. They are called your green lines. Then each of these rows represents a subject or a participant. Maybe you are gathering data because all of the data we'll be dealing with today is gathered from EcoNow. And the theme of this class today or section today is SPSS Bootcamp Climate Change for Renewable Energy Decision. So that is our topic. So the data we'll be analyzing today is gotten from climate change for renewable energy decision. So now, I say role represents each participant's subject or case. Your column represents those characteristics of your participant. Could it be your gender? Maybe you are getting this data from individuals, the height, maybe the weight, the education level of that participant, the gender, the income level of that participant, the awareness level of that participant, all boils down to those variables. Now, the basic thing I will teach you before we proceed to entering our data, because in this data view, what you are to enter here basically is your number. You don't enter letters, you don't enter symbols. Basically, it's your letters. That's your data that you've gotten from your field. For variable view gives you the opportunity to describe your data. And when I mean describe your data, like you change your view to variable. We are in what? Data view. Before I say in data view, we can only enter numbers. Letters and symbols are not allowed in our data view. But now let's switch to what? Variable view. In variable view, you can enter letters, you can enter numbers, you can enter symbols, but it is strictly guided by some rules. And what are these rules? One of the rules guiding how to code your data in SPSS. Please, if you are with your pen and a paper, you have to take note of this. The guidelines for naming variables. Number one, no space. You must not use space. If you are using your system while working in SPSS, you must not tap the space bar. Secondly, you must start it with a letter. Number can come at the center of it, but not at the beginning. The third, the character must be unique. Unique in the sense that it could either be one camel case, Pascal case, or underscore. For example, let me try to type something now on our variable view. We are on our variable view. Then in this name, remember the name is very, very short. You must not type something very lengthy in describing maybe your participant. Maybe this first name you are trying to type is a gender. You just type a gender. You must not make it gender of participants. You just shorten it because it takes maximum of 64 characters and minimum of 2. So you must have to be careful on these rules so that while you are working with your data, you will not find it hard. So now we've typed our gender here. If I happen to tap space bar now, it's giving me a warning sound from my system. Boom. Now I try to enter. What happened? There is a pop-up menu on my screen. Variable name contains an illegal character. I don't know who can read my screen from there. Can anyone read my screen from there?
No, we can't see that part.
Okay.
I don't know if you're sharing all of your screen.
Okay, let me share all of my screen. I think that would be
exactly.
yeah. Can you see my entire screen now? Now, what I'm saying in essence is that when you type, maybe I prepared a questionnaire, a structured questionnaire, and I conducted a research on renewable energy to know the people who are willing to purchase solar, those ones that are using generator, those ones that are using NEPA. I want to compare to know, actually, is these people, are they really aware of climate change? Are they willing to adopt solar panels to start using in their homes? With the cost of electricity, can they really calculate the amount it costs for paying NEPA bills every month, sum it up in a year and say, let me take this burden off myself and buy solar to uplift their burdens. So those are the factors that will come into your mind. Now we prepare a structure questionnaire, and let me say the first thing in this structure questionnaire is gender. We'll type gender, and I say first there are rules guiding SPSS variable view where you describe your variables. These variables are characteristics, and when I mean characteristics, these are things that varies among individuals. Your height cannot be the same with my own height. My age cannot be the same with your own age. My income cannot be the same with your income level. My education level may likely not be the same with your own education level. So those are the characteristics that makes up a variable. So now in the course of describing the first one, maybe we'll say gender. In this gender, as I'm typing it, if I tap space and enter, there's a warning on my screen. Variable name contains an illegal character. To tell you that it doesn't allow spacing. That is rule number 1. It does not allow spacing. Instead of you to use spacing, you use underscore. Maybe I want to type it in a very long way, but remember the maximum this first row can take is what? This cell can take is 64 characters, and the minimum is what? 2. So I will type gender. If I want to add something to it, I'll put underscore, maybe gender of, I'll put another underscore, participant. Now, gender of. You can see that now it was not rejected. But when I say gender of participant, it was too long. That was why they rejected the first time, because it must have exceeded the what? The maximum character. But when I say gender of and I put underscore, the thing didn't reject it. So instead of you using space, you rather use underscore, or you use a camel case. There's what we call camel case or Pascal case. Camel case is, I will type gender. It's a sequence of joining words together. Then each of those words starts with a capital letter. I will say gender, maybe gender of. This of now, the first letter of this of will now come up in capital letter. Though it is a preposition, it doesn't supposed to be in capital letter, but for someone to read it easily, you have to shoot the OF in capital letter. So if I move, it will not reject it. So it is either you use underscore or you use what? You use camel case or Pascal case. Between the two, which one that is convenient for you, you go with it. Then we now have type. Under this type, we have numeric. Like I click, let me go back there. Look at the next row is what? Is what? Type. Look at my cursor very well. My cursor is running on the screen. So follow with your eyes to type here. When I click on this type, there's what is then numeric. Gender cannot be numeric because we have what is known as type of data. In statistics, I will take your mind to the types. We have descriptive statistics and inferential statistics. Descriptive statistics helps you to summarize data. Inferential statistics helps you to make conclusion. Now, in this descriptive statistic, we have data that you can apply mean, you can apply, let me just say you can apply measure of central tendency and measure of dispersion. Where you know that measure of central tendency is we have mean, we have mode, we have median. Then measure of dispersion, we have a standard deviation, variance, coefficient of variation, so on and so forth. But in gender it is not a data that you apply numerals to it. Gender is gender, either male or female. So you cannot leave it at numeral. Rather, you click on it, then there is a three dotted sign here. You click on it and it will give you a pop-up dialog box. You now change it from what? Numeral to string. String is a sequence of symbols, letters, and numbers that are classified as text data. You don't label them as numerals, just like education level. Now, education level is also a type of string, because here it is either secondary, it is either primary, or it is either tertiary. So they are this kind of data, they are regarded as what? Text data. They are string. But anyone that applies number, that's when you leave it at what? At numeric. So for this gender, we'll leave it at what? We'll leave it at a string. You can see from my screen. I hope you can also please, if you are following, kindly be sending thumbs up. I hope you are all following. Okay, I can see your thumbs up from my second screen. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I will change it to string. And next is the width. How do I want the width of my data to appear from the data view? Like if I come to this data view now, like I return back to data view, how do I want the length of my we have height and width. How do I want the width of my row to be? Should it be long or should it be short? Alternatively, if you check critically on my data view, I can come up on my what? On my row and hold my what? My clicking button down and drag back. If I drag back, it follows me. If I drag forward, it follows me. So that is where the what? The width applies. That is how to set your width. At default, it will be 8. If you want it maybe to be 20, you can change it to 20, depending on how long. But don't leave it at default. Then the decimal. This gender is not a number, so you cannot apply decimal. You see that initially it was on numeral. Let me say we change it to numeral. It will leave it at decimal of what? Of 2. Default, you see 2 in this place, in this decimal. Like for data like, let me say height. Your height should be quite different from my own height. I measure maybe 6.72. You may measure 6.73 also. Though in mathematics, we have discrete and continuous data. Discrete data are data that appears to be whole numbers. For example, numbers of people attending this section. Maybe we are 20 in numbers. That's discrete data. But now, the height of individuals or participants attending this section will be different. Some will appear in what? Decimal places. And how do I want to approximate my decimal places? Should it be in 2 decimal places? Should it be in 3 decimal places? Should it be in 4 decimal places? Depending on how you want it, that is how you choose it from here. If you want to increase it, there is a drop down arrow and a drop up arrow. So you navigate and leave it either at 2 or you increase it to 3. But since gender is not a numerical data, we will not keep it at decimal. Rather, we'll return it back to our string and we'll come to our decimal and leave it at what? At 0. So the label. Now, since at name, it could not give us the opportunity to describe our variable appropriately. I told you that the highest name can take is what? Is 64. Somebody cannot see the screen. I don't know if others can see.
I think your screen is up.
Yes, yes, your screen is very clear.
Your screen is up.
Please just
it's from the person's network.
please kindly log out and log in back, or you change your ISP, internet service provider. So now I told you that this name, the maximum you can type here is 64. If you exceed 64, it will bounce you to tell you illegal character. So it is in this label that will give you the opportunity to describe your data. Now here you type gender. Remember, it doesn't allow spacing. I'll put my underscore, gender of participants. I move to next. The next thing is value. And now, this is where we'll come to the business of the day. Coding of your data in SPSS. Please, you must have to be very, very attentive in this portion. Assuming we prepare a questionnaire. In this questionnaire, the questionnaire is made up of, let me say, I made a research. In recent time, because of this class, I had to make a research on renewable energy decision. And in my questionnaire, it was a very simple, open-ended questionnaire. I have to ask them the gender which they belong, their age group, maybe are they from 18 to 25, 25 to 35, 35 to 40, and maybe 45 above. So that is how I coded my questionnaire. Now, for the value, I will type 1. How do I want my 1 to be for the value? I will say 28, between the age of 18 to 25. I will click on add. It has added. The next one I will choose is okay, we are working on gender. We are not working on age. Sorry, I'm already working on age, so we cancel it. Since we are working on a gender, we have 2 types of gender, male and female, that is legally recognized. So what we'll just do here, we'll just type our 1, we'll type male, we'll add, and the next we'll type 2. We'll say female. We've coded our data for this particular variable. We'll click what? Add. We'll say okay. We'll leave it at that level. That is our coded data is 1 male, 2 is what? Female. Don't worry, we'll return to variable view. Just follow me carefully. When I move to the next variable, you'll be able to understand. While conducting this research, was there any missing data? Because there are certain research for those who are in academia. There are certain research that you sample your variables. For example, now you want to take samples from 50 persons, and in these 50 persons, you sample household, maybe household 1, household 2. For example, I am from Cross River now. My first household in Cross River should be in Calabar. The next one should be in that's based on local governments in Calabar South. The next one is in Calabar Municipal. The next one is in Akpabuyo. All of these are local government. So now I go to collect samples from, maybe I'm carrying out research. Let me just say the people that have solar and the people that does not have solar. I mapped out houses. And why going there to take sample from this household? Because they are always this household I map. They are at the center of where I can make conclusion. Like I can generalize that 95% of people in Calabar use solar. 5% of people in Calabar use solar. But when I went there to get my information from them, some of them were not at home. So I will tag them to be what? To be missing. How many data we are missing in this place? I will just choose, is it 1, is it 2, is it 3? So depending, if it is only 1, I will type 1. If it's 2, I will type 2. If it is none, I will leave it at a none. If I go there and I succeed the data I'm supposed to get, I will just leave it at that level. Then the column, just like for width is 8. For adjusting your width is we'll say you can drag and be adjusting. It is a default 8. For column also, you can also adjust it. If you want to leave it at 8, you just type your 8 here, leave it at 8 also. But there is always a drop up arrow and a drop down arrow. You can increase or you can decrease depending on the one that is quicker for you. But I prefer to type. I will just come here. If I want to leave it at 10, I'll just type 10 there. Whenever I return back to my variable view, I will be able to see it. Then align. We have 4 basic types of alignment in computer. We have left, right, and justify. But in SPSS, we have only 3. Basically 3. We have left, right, and center. We don't have justify alignment in SPSS. So how do you want your data to be aligned? Left, right, or center? Then this takes us to what? Scale of measurement. Scale of measurement is an important basic aspect of statistics. Without scale of measurement, then you'll not be able to perform any analysis. And this is another place where I would like you to pay rapt attention, please. So now, in statistics, we have 4 scale of measurement. We have nominal. We have, let me take you to my slide so that you'll be able, since it is my whole screen that is being shared, so you'll be able to see it and note down, because I'm trying, we have a lot to cover, so I'm trying to catch up with my time. So we have 4 types of measurement, and the first one is our nominal scale, which is used for naming or labeling different categories of variables. These categories, they have no order. For example, gender is an example of what? Nominal variable. It does not have order, either male or female. It's just used in labeling. Meanwhile, we also have the second type of scale, which is ordinal scale. This category have a meaningful order. That is, they have gradation, but the differences are not exact or measurable. Example is education level. Are you primary? Are you secondary? Or are you tertiary? Your income level, is it low? Is it medium? Or is it high? Maybe I'm carrying this research on electricity satisfaction among individuals living in Uyo. Is their electricity satisfaction level poor, fair, or good? Or maybe I'm conducting a research on the numbers of people that are feeling headache every early morning. Is their pain always mild? Is it always severe, or is it always low? So ordinal, just like in order, but in nominal, it is just for labeling, male or female. Another good example of nominal that you can think is energy source. What is your energy source? Is it generator? Is it grid? That's PACN, or is it solar that you are using? Another good example is blood group. Blood group cannot be measured. It is either blood group A, is either AB, is it either O, and the rest. So this arrow from my screen, just like I've shared my screen, shows a true definition of ordinal scale, graded but cannot be quantified, because you cannot measure the education level of primary, secondary, and tertiary. You cannot. What is your educational qualification? Primary. But we know that at most, that is basic knowledge of education, but you cannot truly quantify the difference between primary, secondary, and tertiary. And also, you cannot truly quantify income level, low, medium, and high. In ordinary sense, all of these participants, they are citizens, and you cannot come and say, because your income level is low, your income level is medium, your income level is high, you are no longer a citizen. That's why I would say it cannot be quantified. It is not measurable. Now, we now have interval scale. Interval scale is an advancement or an improvement of ordinal scale. Here it shows that there's a gradation, and the difference between these two categories can be quantified. Additionally, numbers have equal spacing, but not through absolute zeros. And I picked a very good example for today's section, which is temperature. Now, if we want to say now that temperature is an example, there is a difference between 20 degrees Celsius and 25 degrees Celsius. And the difference is what? 5 degrees Celsius, because 25 minus 20, it is what? It is 5 degrees Celsius. And why we say there is no true zero is because you cannot tell me that 0 degrees Celsius, there is no temperature. Temperature exists. Even minus something minus 0, there is still what? Temperature. That is why we say 0 is not absolute. Yes. Another good example is intelligence quotient. Yeah. For somebody having a minus 0 intelligence quotient does not mean the person doesn't have intelligence. Even imbecile, they have IQ. So that's another good example. Another good example is PA scale. You cannot tell me that though the rating is always at 0 to 1 to 7, but you cannot tell me that 0 there's no pH. There's also a pH at what? At 0 pH. So that is how we rate between ordinal and interval. In ordinal, there's a gradation and it cannot be quantified. But in interval, there's a gradation, but it can be quantified. Just like 25 minus 20 degrees Celsius, it will give you a difference of 5 degrees Celsius. You measured it, you quantify it. Then the gold standard is what? Is our ratio scale. And it is this ratio scale that we'll always be using while we are performing our statistical analysis in SPSS. You can compare and perform all mathematical operations with ratio scale. Like your monthly income, since it's always in numbers, your electricity consumption rate is always in number, like age. Are you 25? Are you 18? Are you 30? Are you 45? Are you 15? All of these, they are all in what? In numbers. And now it is in this ratio scale that you can perform basic descriptive analysis such as mean, median, standard deviation, coefficient of variation, standard deviation, variance, so on and so forth. So after explaining our basic scale of measurement, I will now return back to what? SPSS. So we are back to our SPSS. I haven't explained the scale of measurement. I hope you are following. Please, I need a thumbs up if you are following. Good, good. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, we are in what? In our measure. This measure is the same thing like scale of measurement in statistics. We mentioned 4 scale of measurement. We have nominal here, we have ordinal here. And what do you think gender will be? Can somebody type on the chat box? What I think even while discussing the types of scale of measurement, I had to give example. So can someone just quickly type on the chat box what this will be? I want to see on the chat box quickly. So what are we choosing for? Thank you, thank you. Omini Frank, absolutely. So nominal is what we are choosing for our gender, because gender ordinarily, I told you, you cannot grade it. Gender is gender. It is just a name. So we'll label it at the level of what? At the level of nominal scale. Now, the next thing we'll move on to, then input. You have nothing to do with input. We will not go to the level of input. It is until we go into inferential statistics that I will show you what input does. Then the next thing we'll go into, maybe from our questionnaire. Remember, all what we are doing now, we are looking at our questionnaire, what we sent out, the data we have collected from participants of our research that we are trying to analyze now. So you follow up maybe because I think if you can see my screen, all what I'm doing it from the data I gathered. Yes, I'm doing it from the data I gathered. I hope I'm typing in, I conducted this research on renewable energy decisions. So I just gave them simple. This 11 question I'm trying to code in so that we'll be able to analyze. So our second from the questionnaire is age group. I type it to be what? Age group, but I'll only type age. I told you initially that this take not more than 64 characters. So everything will always be short. And now in age is always a number. 15. So we'll leave it at what? Numeral. Age is not a string. Age is a what? It's a number. So we'll leave it at the level of numeric. Is that understood? Please, a thumbs up will help me to. Thank you. Thank you. This shows that you are following. So we'll leave the type at what? At numeric. The width, you have nothing to do there. You've already set your width at default. So now, since we are dealing with number, what is our decimal? We can say our decimal should be at the level of 2 decimal places. in case there is decimal in age, but in age there is no decimal, so we'll take it what to what 0. There's no decimal in age. If you can't tell me that the age of someone is 15.3, 15.9. No, age is age. We can take that for height, width, and age is age. Now we'll now say age. Remember your rules. Use underscore or camel case, age of participants. We code. In this age of participant, remember this coding is very, very important. I will close it and open again. After finishing from our lab, age of participant, to give a perfect description of our variable. We'll now move next to value. We'll now code our value. In this value now, when it opens like this, I will now look at it from my questionnaire. How many gradation did I rate my age? From my questionnaire here, I said from 18 to 25, from 25 to 26 to 30, from 31 to 40, and maybe 46 and above, 46 plus. So the next thing I will just do, I will just type 1 here, and my label will be 1, 18 to 1, 25. I will click on add. 2, I will type here 26 to 30. That's the age range. I've grouped these people into age range. I'll click on what? Add. My 3, I will code from 31 to 40. I'll click on add. The next 4, there are 4 in number. I will type 46 and above. That's 46 plus. I'll click on add. I'll click data. Then there's no missing data. The scale of measurement for age, it will be at the level of what? It will be at the level of scale. Since it is what? It is a number. We'll say from 18 to 25, 26 to 30, 31 to 40. Since it is a number, and though a little bit graded at interval, but we'll leave it at a scale. And this scale is almost like ratio. In SPSS, we spoke about ratio while on the slide, but in SPSS, the standard is scale. Ratio is alternatively replaced with a scale. So I will come to the next factor, which is our education level. I'll just type EDU. Education is a string. It's not a numeric factor. So we'll leave it at the level of a string. We'll just say education level, type underscore, education level of participant. If you want to go further, depending, then the value we'll put. We'll type here 1. We'll say primary. Please, are you following? If you are following, you type a thumbs up. The next one, we'll type 2. We'll say secondary. I want to see everyone following, please. We'll type secondary. We'll click on add. 3, we'll choose tertiary. You click on add. If you really want to make it 4, you just say 4 others, because others could be postgraduate, any kind, post-diploma, any kind of education. Is it all this informal education people are attending? You just put it at the level of order. But since it is a structured questionnaire, I left my own at the level of primary, secondary, and tertiary. And since I am done, okay, somebody say if I can recap. I say at the level of value, you could, because education is a string. Education level, is it primary, is it secondary, is it tertiary, is it postgraduate? So this is a string. It is a text data. There's no number. Sorry, guys. Sorry. This evening there was rain in Calabar, so network is actually distracting, but it won't really send us off. It won't. Let me reconnect back. I just have to quickly switch my ISP. A moment, please. Good. I am back now. Let me immediately share my screen, entire screen. So this is the level where, like I was saying, I say education is a string data. There is no number attached to it. So what you use is a string, non-numeric. And at the level of value, how you code your, I needed to confirm that my mic is not muted because I didn't really check that. How you code your data is the result you get. It's almost like garbage in, garbage out. If you code your data wrongly, at the end of the day, your analysis will be faulty. So you must have to be very careful at the level of value and at the level of scale of measurement. So now, when we come to this value for education, we'll click on the three dotted arrow and we'll begin to code. Our number one factor is what? Primary. We'll type primary. We'll click on add. The next two, we'll click secondary. We are coding our data now for analysis. Secondary, we'll click on add. 3, we'll choose what? Tertiary. We'll say 3, we'll type tertiary. We'll click on add. We'll click OK. We've coded our data. Now, we'll move straight to our scale of measurement. What scale do you think is education level? This is ordinal. It is in order. Is it primary? Is it secondary? Or is it tertiary? So the best scale of measurement for this is what? Or the ordinal. Maybe after the class, I will share the, I think you guys have filled the form, and for you to have access to the slide, I may likely drop the slide on a chat box for you to download and read to understand. Yeah, but it's just tips of the iceberg slide that I will drop on the chat box of this scale of measurement and the rest of others. Then the next factor from our questionnaire here, I hope the person who asked that I should recap. The person have understood what we just did now. Please, if you understand, send a thumbs up, because I want all of you to understand what we are doing here, because this is just the basic. And if you understand the basic, when at the end, we'll likely move to advanced, you'll not find it hard to cope. Please send a thumbs up if you understand. I want to see a thumbs up from my second screen. Thank you. So the next thing from our questionnaire here is occupation. We'll just type abbreviated at the level of occupation. This occupation, is it a numeric? No, it is a string. What is our occupation? Is it employed? Is it student? Is it unemployed? Or we have several occupations. So maybe we'll just streamline our own to the level of maybe 3 or 4. We'll just say occupation of participant. Let me describe it. Occupation of participants. The next thing, I will code it. Now, the first occupation is what we'll say maybe employed. We'll click on add. The second one, I'm doing it repeatedly because I want us to understand it. The second one is what? Unemployed. Let me go to unemployed. I'll click on add. The third one, I will click self-employed. Self_employed. I'll click on add. And maybe the fourth one, I will click, I will use student, occupation, student. I'll click add. So for occupation, there were 4. We'll click OK. We've coded it. Then what is this occupation rated in the scale of measurement? This is ordinal. This is ordinal scale. No, this is nominal scale. It is not ordinal because it is not in order. It is a nominal scale because it's a string. Self-employed, unemployed students. It is a nominal scale. You can't choose ordinal for it. Anything you see like mild, maybe feeling strong, not too strong, moderately strong. Those are ordinal scale. So the next thing from my questionnaire is energy. We have to be fast now so that we'll be able to catch up with our time. For energy level, this is string. We'll click OK. Then we'll say energy consumption. Okay, let's just say energy consumption of a participant. Energy consumption of participants. Then this energy consumption, is it 8 hours? Is it 3 hours? Is it 11 hours? Depending on how maybe your country is enjoying. I don't know whether some participants of this section are join us from other African countries or from other parts of the world. So for Nigeria, are you in band A? Are you in band B? Depending on how federal government have structured their power supply. So now we now come to our level. We'll say 1. We'll say maybe 5 hours. 5 hours. We'll click on add. The next one we'll click on 2. We'll say maybe 8 hours. We'll say add. The next one we'll say 3. We'll say 8 hours. We'll click add. We'll click OK. Now, this is a scale. Since it involves number, this is a scale. Now, all of this we are preparing because we have a list of questions on our questionnaire. So we cannot exhaust them for the now. Let's return back to our data view and now see the logics. So in our data view so far, we've typed gender, we've typed, you see that initially it was on variable. Like you see the one that we've not coded, we see VAR. That VAR stands for variable. The next row again, you see VAR, like that, as we keep going. So now in this gender now, if I type 1, maybe the first questionnaire I pick, the first person who responded to my questionnaire, I type 1. That person is a male. I move to the next. I type 2. I move again. I type 3. I move. Sorry, because when we were coding, it was between male and female. Remember, it was male and female. So it was 2 factors that were considered in. So we cannot type 3 because we didn't code anything like 3. So the next one maybe is a male again. The next one is a male again. The next one is a male again. That's as you are picking your questionnaire to code your data, it will no longer be typing between male and female again. Then there is a button. Follow my cursor very well to change it from number to what alphabet. Are you seeing you saw the button I clicked? Did you see the button I clicked? Initially, as I'm typing, maybe I pick the next questionnaire.
No, sir.
Okay, let's redo it. After we had finished, let me clear. I will come to edit. I will come to clear data. You see clear data here. If I want to clear my data, I will just click clear data. All of them have gone. From our variable view, we've been able to code from gender, age, education level, occupation, and energy. We'll now return back to data view. I told you that variable view allows you to describe your data. And now we've been able to describe the view from our questionnaire that we have, or from the data that we have. We'll now return back to data view. I told you that data view is like a spreadsheet, like a worksheet. It doesn't allow you to type symbols, doesn't allow you to type letters, numerals constantly. What is applicable here is always numeral, and it is based on the coding you've given from what? Variable view. So now, under gender, we will type 1. Like we'll get our questionnaire and we'll discover that what is there is that it is a male that answered our question. We'll just type 1 from here. If the next person is still a male, we'll type 1. If the next person is a female, we'll type 2. If the next questionnaire we'll type is a male, we'll type 1. If the next one is a female, we'll type 2. The next one is a female, we'll type 2. Like that, like that, like that. Till we exhaust, maybe we'll have a 150 questionnaire. That is how we'll type it till we'll get to 150. Already, the rows and the columns, they are already identified. Like if we have 150 participants from this 1 to 150, we'll type it. Then it is already in number. It is just showing 1. But you cannot use this 1, 2, 1, 2 while presenting your data. What you do, there is a button that alters from the coding to what? To alphabet. So we'll now move. Watch my cursor from the screen, please. Let me watch from my second screen to see that my cursor is moving. So see my cursor moving. I'll now come to this button. For any type of SPSS you have, be it version 25, 26, 27, because the latest right now is 27. You see this button there. You just come and alternate it from number. Immediately you click on this button. What you've coded from your variable view have been able to what? Identify at the data view. The one has automatically changed to male. The one again to male, female, like that, like that, like that. Please a thumbs up if you understood, or you need me to take it again. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Please, if you are not following on the chat box, it will do me a favor to know that you are not following. And if you have any question, it's either you leave it when I pause, you ask, or you drop it on the chat box, or you raise your hand. You use the signal button to give me a cue to raise your hand, and I'll give you the opportunity to ask your question. Now, the next thing is age. In this age, we coded from our age to be between 18 to 25. So maybe our first questionnaire, the person we interviewed was at the level of 18 to 25. We'll type 1. Automatically, it has given us a drop down menu 18 to 1, 25. The next one, maybe the next questionnaire will see 2, 26 to 30. The next one will see 3. The next one, maybe we'll put in a 1 again. The person was between the age range of 18 to 25. The next one was 3, 40. The next one was 4, 46 and above. We've all coded this from our variable view. Then for education level, already we have our 1 for what? Primary, it automatically change. 2 is for what? Secondary. Like it is from our questionnaire that we are doing all of this now. So now 3, maybe the person say he stop at primary level, you still put it at 2. Then the next one, maybe the person say tertiary, you put 3 to change automatically to tertiary. The next one, if you put 1 to return back to primary. Like you are looking from your data to type all of this. You type 1 primary, the next one you type maybe 4. You move to occupation. We have 4 occupation that we coded. We have 1 for employed. The next person says 4 student. The next one say 4 student. The next one maybe say 2 unemployed. The next one say 5. The next one say 6. The next one say 3. So we didn't have 5. We have only 4 students. We have 2 unemployed, and we have a 7 employed. I hope you are understanding. Please give me a thumbs up if you are following. And let me check my chat box. Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you. Then at the energy level, we coded. Is it 8 hours? Is it 5 hours? Is it 11 hours and above? When we type 1, it will drop 5 hours. When we type 2, it will drop. When we type 3, it will drop. 2. maybe 1, 3, 2, 1. The energy level, did they fall at the level of 5 hours, 8 hours, like that? But if you happen to make a mistake while you are coding your data, remember, you can still return back to your what? To your variable view. Maybe at the level of energy, you made a mistake for not coding well, you still return back to this, your value. You click on this 3. If you check, you see 3 dotted lines, you click on it, you check how many factors were there. It was 1 hour, it was 2 hours, it was 3 hours. It may be like the number 3. You remember, within add H arrow, that's the unit to it. You can choose to remove it and type number 3. You can say now 11 hours. That's we made a mistake, so we are trying to correct it now. We'll now click add. We'll now OK back. And when we return back to our data view, you see that automatically it will change. A thumbs up if you understood that. How to return back to your thank you. So now, when you are done typing, maybe because the higher your sample size, the higher the precision. Because if you want to conduct a research on this renewable energy now, maybe you went to just 10 houses, because my own questionnaire was just on 15 houses. You now went to 15 houses and you now make a conclusion. That will really not work, because there's no precision in your data. It was just little sample size that you took. You sample just 15 people and you want to make generalization that because these 15 people are not using solar, they are only using generator and NEPA. You now conclude that for that reason, people are not willing to use solar. No, the higher your sample size, the higher your precision. So if you really want to have accurate result, that accuracy, you expand your sample size. So because of time, we may not really type up to 150, because what I want you people to get is just the understanding. Now, haven't typed just 7 participants. We've coded just 7 participants. We've coded their gender, their age, the education level, their occupation, and the energy. So we now have to add one basic one, which is what? Which is their energy source. This energy source, is it because it is what will help us now to do our analysis. Energy source. We'll now say energy source. This energy source now will now be on 0. We'll put it at the level of 0. The first one, we'll now say 1. We'll say generator. Please just watch. Let me be a little bit fast so that we'll work with our time. But all I want is your understanding. You have any question, drop it on the chat box. Our 2, we'll put it at the level of grid. Our 3, we'll put it at the level of solar. Solar. We'll click add. We'll click OK. So now we now return this is nominal, this is a nominal variable. We'll now return back to our view. Here we'll now type 1. It will automatically change. Here we'll type 2. Here we'll type 1. Here we'll type 2. Here we'll type 1. Here we'll type 1. Here we'll now type 3. Maybe only one person using solar from your questionnaire. We'll now do our what? Our select all. You hold and drag, or from your keyboard, you simply press Ctrl A. All will be selected. Either you drag or you press Ctrl A. Everything will be selected. It's a shortcut from the keyboard. And the next thing, you come to analyze. You come to what? Descriptive statistic. Please follow my cursor. You come to descriptive statistic. You come to can you see descriptive statistic there? Or you come to, maybe you want to know the frequency. If you don't want to go to descriptive statistics, you just come to frequency. We have so many of them. Maybe you want to know the frequency at which gender affects energy source use. Now, is it from this questionnaire, is it male that use generator the most? Is it female that use generator the most? So these are the factors you begin to think out. But while you are making all of this, you drag, because you have how many factors you want? You have gender, age, education, occupation, energy use, and energy source. When you open, go to analyze, click on frequency, click on descriptive statistics, and click on frequency. You now come here. All of them will be at the left hand corner. So now, if you click the first one and click this, you see this arrow facing right. Look at this arrow here. You put it there. You want to know whether gender will affect, because you must have your clear goals for your research. What are you researching? Because one of the steps in doing research is that you must give reasons why you are doing this research. You cannot just jump into research. You must have to think it out. If maybe it is just a research that somebody have not done before, you must have to give steps, yeah, so that it can be replicatable. Somebody can replicate it if he or she wants to do in the future. But if it's something that maybe somebody have done before, you want to make improvement on it, you can also begin to think, what are those factors you want to bring out to make an improvement, like to bridge the gaps in the previous research. So maybe you also want age to be among age of participant, whether age of participant affects the level of solar panel use, that's renewable energy use. You also put it there. Let's assume we put all of them. We'll drag all of them and put. If you don't want to select and click on this arrow, you just hold down your clicking button and drag inside. You drag the occupation, you also drag your energy consumption rate, you drag your energy, so you also drag inside. Now, you can also come to charts, because in this dialog box, there is also a chart. You can also click on this chart. You now click, maybe you want to represent it based on this, what will best, because they are all categorical data, what will best describe categorical data? It is bar chart. You choose your bar chart. You click, maybe you say, give me the frequency or percentage. If you need percentage, fine, but at this level, let's choose the percentage of it. You click OK. You click OK. SPSS will give you a copious window in no distant time, and you begin to make it has opened. This is a copious window of SPSS. So you begin to do your interpretation. You take a look. Please, if you are following, you give a thumbs up. And if you didn't see what we did, good. So now, SPSS has given you a copious window. So now, statistically, for gender, we have 7 factors. We have gender, we have age of participant, we have education level, occupation, energy consumption rate, and energy source. For missing data, there was no missing data. Now, gender of participant, the next thing you see here is a gender of participant. That's the frequency table. And this frequency table, it shows that for male, how many persons are using, okay, how many persons are male? 3 persons were male, 4 persons were female, a total of 7. In percentage, it was 42.9, while for female, it was 57.1. It has automatically given you the percentage. Meanwhile, for the cumulative frequency, that is the total frequency running down your slope. For male, it is 42.9. Meanwhile, for female, it is 100%. Tell you that female is quite higher than what? It's quite higher than male in the research you've just done. We'll now go to the age factor. But in all of this, these are frequency table. You'll not really focus on frequency table. Let's go down to our chart, because it is our chart. Because while you are making your presentation of your analysis, it is always visual presentation. And your visual presentation can be in form of chart, it could be in form of graph, depending on how you want it. In as much as it is descriptive statistic, it will always be at the level of visual presentation. It is only when you are making things like a mean, mode, median, that measure of central tendency and measure of dispersion, that you consider frequency. But in this research we are making, what is likely and best fit to be used is our visuals, either graph, either chart, or either histogram. So we'll now run down to see. We'll now come down to see what SPSS has given to us here. Then, if you look at the percentage of our gender that is using solar panel, you see that that's energy use. You see that male is low, female is low. What are you expected to do now? You move further to what? Inferential statistic. That's to make conclusion. Is it true that male people are more likely to use solar panel, or female are more likely? So from the graph, it shows that female are more likely to use a solar panel. We move to the next graph. That's our next visual, the percentage of our gender. You see that from the age of 18 to 25 takes the highest. So these are young people that are actually using a solar panel. And maybe initially you factor this 18 to 25 because you wanted to know these people who maybe get involved in illegal money and the rest, because your research must definitely have reasons. And after making your analysis, that's when you begin to factor in what is really happening. Why is 18 to 25 instead of the age of maybe 46 and above, people who are civil servants or people who are pensioners, people who must have been in good income organization? Why are they not using solar? It is people between the age of 18. You begin to think, is it because these people are getting involved in money laundering? Is it because these people are getting involved in Yahoo Yahoo? You begin to think. And that is how your research will take different dimensions. Then you now make your inferential statistic for a conclusion. So followed by the people between the age of 31 to 40. SPSS is presenting this to you. Then education level. We can now see that people with primary school education are likely to adopt solar. So followed by secondary and tertiary, they have equal number. But this is just an example, because if we had initially entered all our data, maybe we had 150 respondents, it will not be like this, but we only type 7 because we are in a haste to catch up with our time. Because I'm trying to give you just the basics so that you have that good understanding, so that when you are coding your data in SPSS, you'll be able to know what you are doing, and at the end of it, you achieve precise results. So also we move to the level of employment. Students are likely the one using power. And from this interpretation, it shows that maybe students have money more than civil servants, and why? Those are the questions you begin to ask yourself. Why? Is it students that are more likely to use solar? Why so? You begin to ask questions. And this will make your research more deeper. Then for energy use in terms of grid, people who are 5 hours and 8 hours take the highest level. People who are 11 hours. That's to tell you that maybe you made this research in Nigeria now. You conclude that there is no constant power supply. It's only between 5 hours and 8 hours. For you to have 11 hours, maybe that one you go to National Assembly, because you definitely do some temporism. Maybe you want to run it at the level of other states and at the Federal Capital Territory. So you run it for other states, then you now run it at Abuja, then compare to see. Maybe it is only people at Federal Capital Territory, precisely maybe at Aso Rock, that enjoys more power than others, which may likely be that 11 hours. Then we now look at the level of a generator. The level of generator use, like, okay, somebody saying, I have a question about the, Okay, please can you kindly unmute immediately and ask your question? Thank you. I'm waiting for your question. Just kindly unmute. Okay, let me open my message and see.
I can read the question for you. He said
Okay.
for instance, gender, do they represent the solar usage or the distribution of respondents by gender?
Okay, now it represents the distribution of respondents. But now we are trying to factor in, because we are meant to conduct a thorough research to know whether all of these factors influence energy decision. For instance, now, let me make it very clearer now. Let me give a clearer picture. Why you are moving from household to get your response to this research. And you see that maybe female household owners respond that they are using solar far more than people who are male. So when it gives the distribution, this visual, you now begin to ask, why so? Yes, it gives the distribution of gender. But at the end of it, when you conduct your inferential statistic, you begin to ask yourself, does gender really affect it or influence the level of energy use? Because by that time, you not only combine all of them, you begin to combine them too. I had to like make it at once because time is trying to catch up. Let me close this. Are you getting me? Let me just simply close this copious window. I will close it to return us back to our variable view, so that I will just do a simple one. Now, let's choose just two factors to know. We'll come to our select or control A. We'll come to analyze. We'll come to our descriptive statistics. We'll come to our frequency. Now, we want to know the frequency distribution just between, maybe we'll say gender and energy source. Yes, let's know between. We'll remove this one. We'll remove every other one. We'll say reset. We'll take our gender inside. We'll take our energy source inside. Then we'll choose from this statistic. It should give us maybe the variance. It should give us the range. It should give us the minimum and maximum. Minimum and maximum is not necessary. It should give us the standard deviation. It should give us the variance. It should give us the range. We'll click on continue. Then we'll now come to our chart. From the distribution now that we are about to go in, we'll now click a bar chart. We want to know the percentage. Though you could choose, is it the frequency you want to know or is it the percentage you want to know? So if it's frequency distribution, fine and good. If it's the percentage, we'll choose, but percentage is what we'll know. We'll choose our percentage and we'll click OK. Just for the two. We are not joining everything. So now, look at the window that SPSS has given to us. Let me confirm from my screen that you are seeing. So now, we have the distribution. We have 7, no missing data. The standard deviation that maybe you are supposed to calculate, because standard deviation speaks to the level of spread. How does it spread from the center? Is this skewed or it is respecting the properties of a normal distribution? This one, I'm going deep statistically. But if from your question you have good knowledge of statistics, you should know what I mean, because the frequency distribution, majorly, you must have to know the mean, you must have to know the mode, you must have to know the median, you must have to know the range. And when you calculate for mean, you move to what? You move to a standard deviation. So if mean is the true average, but standard deviation will give you what? The variability. How does it vary among these factors? So now, it has given us our standard deviation, it has given us our variance, it has given us our range. Then, we'll move straight to our distribution now. This is our core, male, female. And the second one is the level of use. This research was majorly to determine the level of whether or not gender affects this level of power use. Does male use generator far more than, let me say, what they use solar or generator far more than female, or female use generator far more than a male? From here, you can see that female are higher, meanwhile male are lower. So you now come and take a look at it. Are you seeing it? So when we are trying to reconcile, now reconcile generator with female, because female far responded to what? To generator. And now at the level of grid, we'll now say 30% because it is a graph. Even at the level of choosing a bar chart, there is a number from 0 to what? To 60. That is our equivalent. Also at the gender distribution, we have 0 to 60. So now we'll begin to reconcile. Female, they use generator far more than a male. Our grid, they use it at what? At 30%. For solar, they use it at what? At this one will say 15, because we'll not choose our bar, because everything is represented by bar. So those are the interpretations you begin to give. But remember, in all of this, these are distribution at what? Descriptive statistics. We will not move to inferential statistics, where we will not do through test. For example, now we'll do a t-test, we'll do a chi-square test, depending on the type of analysis we are making on this particular data. We will now proceed from there. If it's categorical versus categorical data, just like the one we are dealing with now, we'll now do a chi-square test, that test of hypothesis, whether to reject null hypothesis or to accept, whether to reject alternative hypothesis or to accept. And those are the advanced aspects of SPSS. This is just the basic. So I don't know if I've been able to answer your question. This is just the basic interpretation. Let me just say so. But the advanced one is when you are dealing with the analysis of the variance, as we are getting these results, you go to chi-square, you get to know, does it truly represent the whole population? Did you even make error? You check for type 1 and type 2 error. Those are the advanced analysis you make on it. Then you now give your conclusion, even going into modeling. So this is just basic. As I've said, if I go into those ones now, everybody will get confused. So we'll leave it at the level of basic. So is your question answered, please? Please, if you have understanding of what I said and your question is answered, give a thumbs up so that, thank you. So we just have 20 minutes left. This 8:40. I will pause and expect more questions, please, from what we've done.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. Only for maybe you have a data spreadsheet, maybe Excel, you want to upload it to this SPSS. So how do we do that?
Please, can you take it again?
If you have like a spreadsheet that you just don't need to code all this, but you just have data in your Excel file that you want to upload to this SPSS.
Okay, you just simply import it. Now, what you just do, you just click on this file. Are you getting the import data? Are you seeing import data there?
Yes.
You just click import data. Where do you want to import the data from? Excel. Look at Excel there. Have you seen?
Yeah.
I have analysis. Let's just quickly do a quick one now. I have analysis I'm running for a postgraduate student. Though, you know, all of this thing is confidentiality. Knowing how to analyze your data is an empowerment because you handle your data with integrity. For example, you are in the academia. If you know how to handle your data, you should be able to do it with integrity. But if you decide to give it out, definitely it will be compromised. Majorly now that plagiarism is something common in the academia. So if I really want to import it from, though it's someone's data, but I'm just trying to share with you. I save it somewhere. Let me go to my desktop and check for that data. This data is from my desktop, cancer patient data. We are trying to conduct a research, though it is a joint research. So we are trying to see if there are certain factors that influences cancer. I will now go to my desktop. I will navigate up since all of those data has already been encoded. I will go up. Yeah, desktop. Look at the spreadsheet here, cancer patient data. I'll click open. The thing will open and I will begin to run my analysis. Is that understood?
Yeah, so when this opens, you don't need to do those codings that you did earlier.
No. In as much as you've been able to manage your data from Excel so well, there is nothing much to be done here again. The only thing, look at it has opened. Though it is a confidential data, but I didn't want something that will go because I have limited time. I didn't want something that will go from the beginning, but I'm teaching you how to make import. And it is also an advanced aspect of SPSS. Immediately you've done your, like now, look at a preview of the data and SPSS is asking me, is this the data I truly want? I've been able to code them. You can see from the screen there, cough level of fatigue, how tired are they, the width of those patients, the chest, the obesity, are they smoking, are they partially having diabetes, so are they wheezing, are they having shortness of breath? All of these questions were gathered from the hospital. So now we are now trying to analyze them. I will click OK and automatically to come into SPSS. Though I will not allow it to open because it is a confidential. It has opened. Have you seen automatically? Did I do anything? I didn't. But if you look at the window right now, it has opened. Patient identity. The first one is patient identity, the age, the gender, the air pollution, alcohol use, because you are trying to know whether all of these factors influence cancer. And anybody maybe will see coming to the hospital, that's far too deep. I'm going far too deep. This research of somebody, but I believe this has answered your question. We've been able to import it and nothing was to be done. So what we are just to do is just to go to analyze now and begin to do our frequency, this, that. There are many things to be done in SPSS, but everything I want people to understand is just the basic, know how to do the basic. Then while moving to inferential statistics, which is the advanced, like ANOVA, analysis of variance, how to do correlation, Kendator, SPM and rank, and all of those ones are far higher. Though if we have undergraduates at this section, it will also be a plus that while you are performing your undergraduate project, you bring out something so innovative. You think outside the box, you are able to analyze your data that while presenting it, your external supervisor begins to ask, how did you do it? How? Like, they will begin to wonder to show that you know your onions. So that is what I mean now. So you don't need to do anything and just begin to do those analyses you feel like doing, and that's all. Is that clear? I close immediately. Thank you. We'll return back. More question, please. Is your question answered? If your question is answered, please, can you give me a thumbs up? All right. So now, you've also known how to import into Excel, from Excel into SPSS. That's also a key. And while you import into SPSS, you have to be sure that your data will not compromised in the course of importing it. And if they come, because number one, how to impute it from Excel is also key. You must have basic knowledge of Excel. And when you import it, you just run your analysis and it will give you seamless window. And one thing I failed to mention to you guys is while you've done your analysis and maybe you want to copy any of those windows into your work, because you cannot just screenshot. maybe it is a frequency. Let's just do this. Drag it in, drag in. This one is just to teach you when you are done. Maybe you have your project work you are working on, and after typing your data into Excel and you import it, or you type it directly here and you get your copious window, your output window like this, because we have two types of window, your data window and your output window. When you click analyze and click on all those dialog box, set them up and click OK. This is your what? This is your output window. Now for you to get this into your maybe project work in Microsoft Word, you right click, you see copy, you just copy it out. You just wait for it to load and you go to Microsoft Word and paste it immediately. Please, I'm expecting more questions. I'm coming. Let me check. You just Control V. You've seen that it has pasted in your Microsoft Word. You just paste it in the page that is well fitted for this window. And while you are making your presentation, it will go well with you. So let's return back to SPSS and close. Just like I said, look at now. This our output window will close back. We'll close. We'll return to our what? Our data window. As simple as that. More question, please. Please, you can unmute and ask your question.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. So I asked a question on the charts that how do you make the bar charts to appear in different designs? Like I always see most undergraduate projects, you see dotted charts, not just this regular kind of box chart like bar chart. It should be dotted. And how do you get those significance difference, those degree of freedom and other those asterisks on all those your charts, those asterisks that will appear there, A or B or C, indicating that there is a significant difference or increase or decrease like that. So that's just the question, sir. Please, did you hear me? I want to just confirm. Sir, can you hear me? Can anyone hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. It's like his network is disturbing. Yeah, it's his network.
Please just hold down for my screen to come up. I can see from my other phone gadget that my screen is not longer visible. Wait for my network to turn in. Sorry about that.
Okay, sir, but did you hear what I asked? Did you hear the question?
Okay. Okay, I'll be joined back. Let me share my screen immediately. Sorry about that. So, as I was saying, if you really want those charts, they are all in this window. You just select all, Control A. You come to Analyze. You come to Descriptive Statistic. You choose a frequency. Now, if you look at it here, you see statistic. The first in this dialog box, you see statistic, you see chart, you see format, you see bootstrap. Just click on this chart. Is it bar chart you want? Is it pie chart you want? Is it histogram you want? Is it line chart that you want? Depending on the chart that is best fit for your data. Like if you are trying to describe trend of event, you use line chart. If you are trying to represent categorical data, you use bar chart. Yeah, bar chart is the best for categorical data because they can be quantified. Then if you are trying to maybe represent parametric data. Those are data that works with population. You use a pie chart, maybe because it's always rated to 360 degree. You want to know the percentage at which maybe you are working on, for example, now you are working on maybe say writing skill now. The writing skill of 10 participants, you want to know maybe for the numbers of participants in this call, you want to truly know how much good our writing skill differs. You begin to ask, rate it to 360. For you, is it 10%? Did you occupy 10% of that pie chart? Did you occupy only 5%? When you rate all of us attending this call to that, you'll be able to get your result intact. So from this box, that's where you get it. Statistics, if you go there, you begin to also see interquartile range, the median, the mean, the mode. Everything you need in SPSS is all here, but I'm only driving with caution because I want us to first understand the basic. And as we are drawing to a close for this class, because this is 8:53, I believe by now you should know how to code your data number one. You should be able to determine what data is this. Is this nominal based on your first scale of measurement? Is this nominal? Is this interval? Is this ordinal? Or is this ratio? So if you can be able to do that, and you can also code your data at the level of value, that one represent male, two represent female. You've been able to get this. You've been able to get used to the rules guiding our naming of variables, that you will not use a space, always underscore or camel case or Pascal case. You must not type more than 64 characters. You don't use symbols. You don't use numbers, strictly alphabets. And they must be unique. Also, you can be able to navigate between your data view and a variable view. If all of this has been understood in this class, then you know that you've been at least 70% good to go at the level of basic statistics. Every other assignment I will give to you right now is to go and read about the types of a statistic, which is descriptive and inferential statistic. While we are working on statistics, we know that data cannot be left out. The types of data, the qualitative data and the quantitative data, that the qualitative data are categorical data. Example is the gender. Those ones, they are just strings, basically descriptive. Then we have quantitative data. Under quantitative data, we have discrete and continuous data. Discrete are the ones that takes whole number. For example, numbers of houses in or numbers of participants in this call. We have 19 currently, 19 and others. Maybe it could be 22. Another type of descriptive statistic is maybe the numbers of tables in your room. Meanwhile, continuous data are numbers that appears in decimal places. That is, you can only take number in between the lines. Yeah, those are continuous data. So when you begin to read, you get those basic knowledge of statistics and leave the aspect of the mathematics, the mean, how to calculate mean, the mode, the median, and the SPSS will do all of that for you. But when you read the basic and understand all of this and you are able to code it into your SPSS, then it will run it in a very seamless and mindless way for you. So I will leave this 4 minutes to few other questions from my participant in this section, and I will leave the floor for Mr. Matthew. Thank you. Questions, please. I'm also watching at the chat box. And if you understood me very well, you can be sending a thumbs up.
Wow, the class has been so wonderful. Who is it? Mr. David. I don't know if he's on this call. Can this video be shared for the learning purpose?
I think the community manager has been saddled with that responsibility to do that. It will definitely be done by the community manager. But I don't know what measure she will use in sending the video to all of you. Whether she will leave it at the chat. Now, let me quickly drop my own slide for all of you.
Okay. Thank you so much.
All right. So I just want, since you don't have question, one person to briefly summarize what he or she have learned from this class and is taking home with it today, please. I just need 1 or 2 response. Then I'll leave the floor for Mr. Matthew. What you've learned from this?
It's been so insightful. I've learned that SPSS statistics is very good and very simple to use. At least I've learned the basics of SPSS. Learn how to use how to use it to code the value and the variables, and also how to use it to visualize. Though I know this is just the basic. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Omini Frank, please.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much for the wonderful insight and the summary for it is I've learned a lot. I've learned, especially the types of the measurement or type scale of measurement. I really learned the nominal, the ordinal, the interval, and the ratio scale. And then also I learned the interface, that's the data view and the variable view, because the one I installed during before this class, I saw that and I was confused. I was like, why is this thing like this? So at least I understood the data view, and I've also understood something about the variable view as well, and then how to impute data, the name, the type, the widths, that's under the variable views, the decimal, the label, the value, the missing, the column and line measures, and then input. And then the statistical part, the analyze, and then the frequency. So I've really learned. And then another thing about the columns, the gender, all those the data you got from the climate decision, that's the team which is
Climate change for renewable energy decisions.
renewable energy decisions. Yes. So we have been able to get at least insight that will guide us now. Assuming we have any data we should work on, we can easily code it on the SPSS and then analyze. So thank you very much. I really learned. If I want to say everything, will not stop. So I will just end here. Thank you, sir.
All right. That is very great. And just like I said, these are all just basic. And of course, I think I'm sorry, that's my last review I'm taking. What will happen is that from here, we'll be advancing into the main deal. If you are really, though Mr. David or Sir Matthew, sorry, will do justice to that. What I want you to do is that the free version you've downloaded, just use it to practice the whole thing we've done in this section. Then if you advance to the next class, which is the advanced section, I have a version which that one you can use it for your lifetime. The one you downloaded is just 30 days free trial. I have the advanced software where you install in your system, and you'll be able to do any kind of analysis you want. That particular one is free. After 30 days now, it will expire. So Nice having all of you in this section, and it is a great time to get all of this review that we're pulling up. Thank you so much, and Sir Matthew, you have the floor.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Joseph. I think that was really massive. Priscilla, I don't know if your hand is up because you want to ask a question or share a concern, or if you've already shared your concern earlier. Um, just to just give satisfaction, I would love you to just say what you want to say. For you have just a few minutes to.
Okay, it's just my thought. Is about the question someone asked earlier concerning the gender and the respondent. I think if it's in a real life scenario, gender will not be used to decide, to recommend. Because by the time you share that your questionnaire, I guess you met the females at home that time. You understand? If it's a real life scenario, I think what should be used is as in the kind of job people do to now check if it's business people, the civil servants, and all the rest, which one they are using. That's just my thoughts. Thank you for the time.
All right, thank you
thank
so
you.
much.
Sir Matthew, a very quick one to
all right.
Give our clarity. Yes, the questionnaire we didn't really exhaust our factors. I was only trying to make a quick comparison so that we'll get clarity of basic statistics. Otherwise, ordinarily, we're supposed to do cross tabulation, and if we are really supposed to do cross tabulation, what we could have considered maybe is let me say now that because I also asked of the awareness level, I asked of their energy source and awareness level. Those are the basic things we have to compare. What is their awareness level at? Is it low? Is it high? Or is it, let me say low, medium, and high? So you compare those ones, not necessarily gender. Gender is not a factor that will influence it, but we may really think of age. Age can influence. We can also think of education level. It can also influence. That's renewable energy decision. So we didn't really type in all of those on at our variable view. That is why I didn't really bring them out. But I was only trying to say that if you can understand how to interpret those charts, the bar chart, the frequency, and the in fact the distribution tables, if you can interpret them, then whatever value or data you have to be able to interpret it on your own. So that's just my penny for you to go with. And why any research you have, you should be able to analyze it at the basic level. Thank you. Mr. Martin.
All right. Thank you so much. Please let's appreciate our facilitator for today. I think he has done so much. Let's show appreciation. Thank you so much, Mr. Joseph. Thank you. So now before we wrap up for today, let me leave you with something important, all right? What you experienced today is just an introduction, but you know one thing about mastery? Mastery comes with more practice. Mastery comes with depth. Mastery comes with reapplication. And that is why we are opening an opportunity for those that want to go further. It was just a one-day boot camp. So we are introducing a Dahel structured SPSS masterclass designed in 3 levels. There will be the beginners level for those that are just starting from scratch. We have the intermediate level for those that want to deepen their analysis skills. We have the advanced level for those that are ready to work on complex and real-world data sets. This is where you will move from learning basics to building real competence to becoming confident in data analysis. So if today sparked you in any form or increase your interest, if you are thinking, I want to actually master this skill, then this is your next step. What we'll do is you will indicate interest in the group. Details, including the course, the structure, will be shared only to interested participants in the group. Thank you for showing up today. And sincerely, I want to thank our facilitator. I also want to thank Dahel Technologies for putting this together with Econa. Econa provided us with the data set, without which I'm not sure this training will have been all of the insight that it carried. So thank you so much for the organizers of today's bootcamp. And thank you for staying. Thank you for joining. Thank you for choosing growth. This is how journey begins. So see you all in the master. Good night, everyone.